Okay, welcome back to Myth Archives. Today I'm going to talk about the film Predator Badlands, which, spoiler alert right off the bat, this is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, this was far and above the best of the franchise editions for the Predator total. I don't care which version we're talking about, Adrian Brett, it doesn't matter. This is literally the best one. This is a franchise affirming piece of film, basically added to it. It's the most technically impressive film to date. It expands Yautja culture far more than any of the previous entries, right? It treats the Yautjas as a full civilization, not just as a monster of the week episode species, right? And this is a character-driven story based on a Yautja. And it's a lore expanding epic. So it really, really gets into it, and I think opens up a lot of excitement for what we're going to see from this franchise in the future, because I think it has a bright future. So the first thing I wanted to get into was, like, you get on the planet and a little insect here, and this is how it starts off, right? And this insect, this little bug right here, is going to be eaten by another bug, right? And then that gets eaten by another bug. But what it's showing you is this rapid ecological food chain. Like, 3 forms are destroyed in succession. Bam, bam, bam. There's no breathing in between. So this lets you know what Yautja Prime is. It is a extremely rough environment. It's very, very difficult. Nothing weak or soft is going to survive in this environment. And so the people aren't that. This is kind of what you're dealing with. We get to see this character Deck, right? And this is our main guy right here. So the story is told through him. And he is an environment that does not suffer the weak. It does not nurture weakness in any point. This Yautja culture is hyper violent. It is hyper competitive. It is a survival only civilization. That's what the first scene is going to tell you with these tiny bugs. They need any dialogue for that. So by the time we get to Deck, we've got a good understanding of what's going on here, right? And Deck, what he represents is Yautja line. This is let me get to his line here. This is him. I'm trying to get his best full face here, right? This is Deck full face. This is him in the fighting scene. So this is the first scene you see here with him and his brother. But the thing about Deck that you have to understand right off the bat is that he is a runt. That is what defines him as different among the Yautja. And this is something that you do not want to be. He is physically smaller. He is labeled the runt, and he is only supported by one brother. So when we open it up and we see this fighting scene between these two, we don't understand fully what's going on. We get from it that it's very competitive. We get from it, that this is all about survival. This is about advancement. And they're talking the entire way about representing the clan. This is the father figure here, by the way. And that'll matter later. So what we don't understand, though, what's hidden to this as an audience is that this training session was actually meant to be his execution. He was not supposed to survive this. His brother was supposed to kill him, but instead chooses to show him compassion. So he upsets the hierarchy. So he immediately faces the father judgment. Both of them face the father judgment. And his father, actually, in one of the most cold-blooded scenes that tells you everything about their culture, is he kills his brother because even his compassion, his mercy for Deck was worth punishment. So he immediately kills him. Right, so he sees this punishment, and Deck gets punished by just watching it. He's lost the only person in this world who's ever been friendly to him, right? His protector is removed. And now his status becomes an untouchable. He's disposable. He is exiled in everything except name. So this is the structure of Yautja culture and what it enforces. So what he has to do now is you're rewarded by how much of a killer you can be. So he decides he's going to venture to the Badlands to capture this creature called a Killik, which is considered to be the apex predator of this world. It is a giant behemoth creature. This is a massive creature that he wants to hunt. And the reason he has to hunt this is because it has a reputation for being completely unkillable. That's the whole point. No one can kill this creature. And now this is the task that he has to take in order to prove himself. So he goes here and he finds himself in this land that is extremely harsh. Now, they don't give a name for the planet, but I'm just going to call it Badass Planet. It is a super hostile environment right from the beginning. Everything is a living weapon, and there's this continuous threat loop. And I mean from poisonous plants that are like sentient, and they know how how to like trigger when you're walking by and they sense your pace, right? And other animals, other predators there. So this is not a world you want to be in. More than likely you're gonna die, which is what his family tells him. Don't come back. If you die, whatever happens, if you don't get that giant creature subdued and bring it back here, don't come back. Die there is better for you. So he's there, and then he meets his synth friend. This is when he meets the synth who will be known as Thia. And she's one of the smartest decisions that they could, because now we got Weyland-Yutani front and center in this. We brought Weyland-Yutani back in a way I don't think any of us had anticipated. And this is a severely damaged Weyland-Yutani synth. It's a previous specimen. They were there to extract one of the specimens on that planet. And failed because it's so violent. So she lost her legs, she lost her combat capability, but she knows the land. So they partner together. He is reluctant, but she becomes like his strategist and his navigator and the translator of the environment. So he has strength, but she has wisdom. So they don't survive by themselves. Now, interestingly enough, on the journey, they encounter another creature who would be very important to them. And this is the creature that they call Bud. And Bud... if we can find, but Bud is this small creature here. And he is a juvenile creature, and this is where the story changes, because while they're there hunting this massive Telic, they're encountering vulnerable creatures in this environment as well. So when he finally catches this apex, so now he has to destroy this apex predator, and this is a massive creature. You can see all the mouth that it's got going here. And we understand that this, just seeing the formidable size of this creature is enough. It can attack with its tail. It's highly intelligent, killer instincts. And this is the trophy that has to be recovered. Now, Weyland-Yutani wants it, of course, for the bioweapons division. They never stop. And for any type of genetic mutation, because they know that this thing can regenerate. And this is what our guy finds out too late. Right? He attacks it and beheads it, literally pulling off the impossible stunt, only to watch this thing regenerate right before his eyes. And you gotta imagine how like devastated he is by this, thinking he got this ultimate prize only to have it come back. So now he's in a position where he's facing this impossible odds against this massive creature, and he's forced to make alliances with this droid now. And this is what he does. So what we're seeing from him is this evolution of a Yautja. He violates their doctrine of hunting alone and starts to weaponize the system. He starts to use creatures in the environment that suit him as traps. He uses other predators. He uses terrain. So he's starting to evolve in ways that are different. He's failing as the old predator format, but becoming a new type of hunter. Now, in this, of course, the Weyland-Yutani company reasserts itself by coming back into the storyline with more forces, because again, they want to control the creatures that are on this planet. And while they're there, now he ends up in bondage. Deck ends up in bondage, and it is the relationship with his droid who now has pair bonded with him. So we see her in her own setting with her own people deny what her programming was. She goes against her own, what she calls as her sister, which is a similar model. They all came off the same assembly line, right? At the same time. And they were on this mission together. And this is her. This is Tessa. So you've got two of these kind of sisters running around. So they have a very touchy, kind of feely, weird relationship. But she chooses her bond with Deck over this. She chooses the pack. And these two have a lot of back and forth conversations about what pack and loyalty is as she's teaching him. He eventually chooses her and this little infantile creature, Bud, as his pack. Because what we find out is that this baby, Bud, is just a juvenile version of the massive creature that every single one of them wants, right? So this is where it starts to get a little more real, because he's got what his prize was standing right in front of his face, right? Where are you at, Bud? This is little Bud here. So in a mature form, he is the same as that massive creature. So he is the prize for everyone, for his own civilization, for Yutani Corporation. This is ideally what they want, to catch this infant. So in the end of all this, he finally, succeeds in destroying the Weyland-Yutani system that's after him, and escaping with what is now his new pack. And there's a great scene where they revive this scene from, I believe it's Aliens, where Ripley fights in the mechanical bot. They use this, the android uses it this time to fight against this massive creature. So they put a lot of really good elements in the story. But finally, Deck, finally returns to Yautja Prime with this confirmation of this incredible kill. He's got proof, he has a living pack, he has trophies that no one could obtain. And what his father expects from him is submission, to reinstate and get his public, props, so that now he's back. But instead, he fully rejects that. He fully rejects everything about his culture, or at least at that point. He completely rejects at least his clan, knowing that he is now in a different place. You have an extreme, like these Calyx creatures, they are extremely powerful, and with massive regeneration abilities, he has enough to be a truly powerful warlord in his own culture now, should he take that route. So we're getting all this, corporate ownership. We're getting this massive theme preview. We're getting levels of loyalty between different creatures, between this savage creature supposedly with Deck and with this android, who form this true bond. There's even a bonding ritual between Dex and the young bud where they involve spitting on each other as a way of marking who is in my tribe. So overall, this is a really good movie. Overall, I think it hit what we gained so much from is Yautja lore. They're really building this lore now, and specifically we see the male side of Yautja culture. But at the very end of the movie, after he's killed his father, Dex sits back and sees his ship coming, and he says, well, that's my mother. So now we know there's going to be a whole opening for at least them to talk about the Yautja females, who I think we've still yet to see one of them on screen at this point, but hopefully we'll get to see that point, because this will be a great story. I've heard a little bit about how the Yautja females operate within the structure. Very important components as well. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about later. But just a great film. That's my analysis right off the bat. I'll probably go in for some deeper dives later on, but I at least wanted to get out while this thing was hot. And trust me, this is something you should sit down and take this weekend and watch if you have the access to it.